You're still training, still pushing yourself, but lately something feels off. And as you're trying to pull your favorite pants up over a body that doesn't feel like yours anymore, the thought hits you like a ton of bricks. Where did I go? And underneath that, the thought you don't really want to say out loud, what if this is just what happens now? What if all of this, all of these years of training still ends the same way, with me breaking down just like everybody else? In this video, I'm going to show you why that is not the end of your story and what actually changes it. But before you change anything, we start at phase 1, where we identify the breakdown. Most of the women that I work with are already doing a lot. They're already training consistently, they're already disciplined, but their knee is not healing and their strength is not increasing. Their runs feel sluggish instead of strong, and they cannot figure out why, because nothing about their effort has changed. Here's what I see almost immediately when I look at their system. They are training for fatigue, not for results. It's high output, but there's no progression on the strength or endurance work. It's a system that's very good at burning energy and not at all good at building anything. This isn't just aging. It's a bad strategy. Your body is responding exactly the way it should to the inputs you're giving it. The inputs are just pointed in the wrong direction for where you're trying to go. This is exactly what was happening with one of my clients, Nikki. She came to me already training consistently, already disciplined, already doing what she thought was the right work, but her shoulder and hamstrings weren't healing. Her strength had plateaued and her body was not responding to the level her effort should have been producing. We didn't add more, we fixed the system. 6 months later, she had added 65 pounds to her squat. Her shoulder and hamstring pain were gone, and she PR'd her half marathon in her 40s. Again, not because she worked harder, because her system finally made sense. After we identify the breakdown, we go into phase 2, rebuild the right stimulus. This is the first thing you fix. Not your calories, not your cardio, your training stimulus. Because if your body doesn't have a reason to build, it won't. So we stop training for fatigue and we start training for results. That means dialing in your effort and the structure. Effort means lifting with enough intensity to actually stimulate change. Not just getting the reps over with, but getting close enough to failure that your body has to adapt. The structure means your training is built for you. Not a generic plan, not random workouts. A system that accounts for your injury history, your movement patterns, where you're strong and where you might be compensating. So you're not just getting stronger, you're becoming more durable, because strength without durability leads to injury, and durability without strength doesn't change your body. You need both, and when they click together, everything starts to feel different. Your workouts feel more focused, you start progressing again, and your body starts responding. Once your system is aligned, we hold the line. This is where your results are built or destroyed, because now the work is not about changing more things, it's about not interfering with what's working. This is where even disciplined women get stuck. They see the scale go up, they have a bad body image day, or something just feels off, and suddenly they're cutting calories, adding cardio, changing up the plan, and just like that, they're back in the cycle. A good plan only works if you stay with it long enough for it to work. This is a trend game, not a day-to-day game. Stop reacting to noise, keep executing the strategy. You don't change anything based on one piece of data. You don't adjust based on one weigh-in, you don't pivot because of one off day. You follow the plan, you collect data, you adjust based on trends. And when your system is aligned, the only thing left to do is to let it compound. If you're thinking, great, that makes sense, but I don't know if I can actually do this right now, let me be real with you. You don't need more time. You need a better allocation of the time and effort you're already giving. Because right now your effort is scattered on different programs, different apps, different priorities, different strategies that are just not made to work together. So it feels like you don't have time, but the real problem is you don't have a system. When everything is working together, you don't need 90-minute workouts. You don't need more effort. You need to cut what isn't working and focus on what does. If you've been here since video 1 of this playlist and you're still watching, you already know more about why your body is responding the way it is than most coaches know about their own clients. And if you've been watching this series and thinking, this is exactly what's happening to me, and you're done trying to piece it together alone, this is what working with me actually looks like. Limitless is my one-on-one coaching program for athletic women in midlife who are already putting in the work, but not getting the results their effort should be producing. We start by looking at your full picture, your training, your injury history, your nutrition, your life. Then I build everything around that. And every 2 weeks, we check in and adjust based on what your body is actually telling us, not what some calculator is guessing. You aren't following a template. you're executing a system that is built for you and evolves with you and your goals. And that's how my clients get stronger, resolve injuries, improve their performance, and finally change their body composition. If that's where you are and you're ready to stop figuring it out on your own, the link to apply is below. And if you're not ready, everything I shared today still works. Start by asking, do these pieces actually work together? Either way, I'm so glad you're here. But remember, you don't need to do more. You need a system that finally makes your effort count.